my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. I'm a booktuber and I'm trying to get my TBR down to 0. Okay, so this is actually a little bit of an exaggeration because I honestly don't know what I would do with myself if I had a 0 TBR. But I am trying my best to reduce my TBR because I have a lot of books that I've owned for absolute years that I just haven't read yet. And I was talking about this on my channel last year because I came to the realization that I have been collecting books, hauling books, bringing books in, and only reading a handful of them at a time and then bringing even more in, and that has led me to kind of become less enthusiastic about those books that I've kind of put to the side for the time being. Even if I've told myself that I'll get to them in a couple of months, over those few months where I haven't read them, I've perhaps become a bit less enthusiastic about reading them and I've kind of lost interest, and I realised last year that wasn't good and it's something that I wanted to change. So I think it was like in the middle of last year I decided that I would be trying to read 75% of the books that I purchase in 2021 in 2021, if that sentence made any sense. I didn't quite manage it because I caught a very bad flu in December, and instead of reading my usual 15 books a month, I only read 7, which is still really good for some people, but it was really bad for me. So I think I made it to about 66%, which is still quite good. It was close to my goal and I will take it. This year I have a couple more goals that I will share with you, which is the whole point of this video. And I also want to do regular check-ins like this one, where I share my statistics, how I'm doing, and just help motivate myself, I guess, and keep myself, kind of hold myself accountable, because I do think I need the encouragement of you guys to kind of spur me on, because a lot of you really liked my 0 TBR videos last year and that really helped me to stay focused and realise that I can actually do it, especially if there are people supporting me. So before I share with you my goals, I will give you a couple of stats. So the amount of books that I had on my unread shelf at the beginning of 2022, so about a month ago, was 316. Now that is also including a bunch of books that I brought over from my granddad's house to here, but I do have more at my granddad's house, so in reality my physical TBR is more than 316, but I'm not counting the ones that I don't have with me in my house because I've got no way of counting the ones that are at my granddad's at the moment. So yeah, 316. I don't think that's a huge amount. It seems quite average among my friends, which is pleasing, but that's also 316 books that I've kind of just left sitting there and that I'm not too keen to read. Well, there are a bunch that I am keen to read, but you know what I mean. There are some there that kind of have my enthusiasm waning, and that's a shame. So I'm going to try to get that down. I also have 32 unread audiobooks, or I did at the beginning of the year. Obviously, we're about a month into the year now, and I'm pleased to say, read through some of my books. I've also unhauled a few as well. I believe my unhaul video has already gone up if you want to go and check that out. So in January, I read 4 physical books from my TBR. The others were ARCs or library books, so that got my TBR down to 312. If I say anything wrong, it's because my maths is really bad at the moment. And I also unhauled a bunch of books. I think I unhauled 3 books that I hadn't read, so I just had lost interest and I knew that I wouldn't read them, which should have taken my TBR down to 309, but my TBR is back up to 310. I did buy a couple of other books in January, which I don't feel too bad about because I am excited for them. One of them is actually Moon of the Crusted Snow, which I'm definitely reading in February for a book club. I've posted my entire February TBR as well if you want to go and check that out. And a few others I'm going to get to absolutely ASAP. Maybe not in February because I'm doing a 28 books in 28 days challenge and some of them are chunky, but I did also buy Ariadne, which I'm definitely going to read probably in March, and I bought Crown of something by Michael J. Sullivan, and I probably won't read that one anytime soon, but that would mean that I would have read 75% of those books, if that makes sense, if I read them by the end of the year. I've also listened to 1 audiobook from those 32, so that's really good. So I am making some progress, but I feel like more progress could be made, especially because I think a book literally just got delivered. So for my goals, I'm keeping them quite simple. I literally have 3 goals. Let me get my 3 goals. My first is again to read 75% of the books that I purchased in 2022 in 2022. I reckon I can manage it this year, especially because I'm going to be conscious of this goal from the beginning of the year, which I wasn't last time. I reckon I can do it. My other goal is to read all of my birthday books from 2021 in 2022. So I think I got about 15 books for my birthday last year. So my birthday was in November, so there was no way that I could have read all of those just in December, but I think I can read them by the end of this year, so I'm going to challenge myself to do that. I'm going to have to keep checking up on those because I can't remember which ones I got for my birthday, but that's something that I really want to do. My next goal, which I'm going to try my hardest to do, but it might be a little bit challenging, is to read books sooner than the current year. So I think I want to try to read, like I said, 75% of the books I purchased this year but I also want to try to read the books as soon as possible. So I'm thinking maybe I could try to read books within 4 months of purchasing them. I don't know how that would go, but it's definitely a goal that I'm considering, because I think that would really help me, especially with like my motivation and enthusiasm. I think I'm going to need a better way of keeping track of this. I currently do track it all on a spreadsheet, but I think after February, after I've done my 28 books challenge, I'm going to look into how I could track that properly and maybe make some graphs and make some things like color coded. So those are the 3 main goals that I have. One is a little bit iffy because I haven't really thought it through. Tell me if you have any similar goals, if you're trying to do a similar thing. I know that my friend Marlene is, because I think she's doing 75% of the books that she buys as well. I don't know, I feel like I could make more goals, but I'd be a bit worried about making them too restrictive. And I still want freedom to read. That's the reason why I have such a huge TBR, because I love having so many options. Depending on my mood, I can read literally anything, or I could meet basically any mood from my TBR shelf. So I don't want to read through my entire TBR, but I would like to get to books sooner, and that's my main goal for this. Not necessarily TBR reduction, but reading books sooner to the time of purchase, because I think that's quite important. I also really enjoy new releases, so I'm not really going on a book buying ban. I love supporting new authors, or authors who are releasing new books. That's really important to me, and that's when publishers pay attention as well. So if I'm like voting with my money, so to speak, I need to buy books soon after their release. I have pre-ordered a few books this year, but I think I said in my goals video for 2022 what I want to try to do is limit myself to 52 books, because realistically I don't need to buy more than a book a week. I'm probably not going to read 52 books that I'm bringing in from February. I feel like this is going to be a really busy year, so yeah, 52 seems like a decent number. I could achieve 75% of that. I'm trying to do some quick maths to figure out what that is. The 50% would be 26 and 13, so 39, so about 40 books. If I'm buying 52 books this year, I need to read 40 of them, which again is doable. I read 170 something books last year, I think, maybe 160. So I don't see why this isn't doable. It's just I get so distracted, which again leads into the, or relates to the whole, I want to read books when near to the time that I purchase them, because that's really important. So this was a very rambly goals video. I feel like I was just kind of talking. I'm going to do these regularly because I know that some people do find them quite motivating and they like talking to me about my goals in this manner. I'm going to quickly show you some of the books that I'm going to be focusing on in the coming weeks. I've already shown you my February TBR, so I'm not going to show you that again because that would just be very repetitive. But there were 14 books from my TBR shelf on that TBR, and I'm hoping to get to at least 10 of them. I would love to get to all of them, but I might mix and match depending on my mood. But I'm going to quickly show you the books that I bought recently that I'm really hyped to read and I'm hoping to read in the next couple of months, because this isn't really a book video without showing you any books. So these are some of the ones that I have my eye on currently, some books that I'm very hyped about. So we have Where the Forest Meets the Stars. This one is, I think, literary fiction. It's about a main character who is, I think, a breast cancer survivor, I think, and one day a child comes out of the forest and she starts to look after her. Or them. I don't know, something about this has just caught my eye recently, and I think it's going to be a really fast read, so I might add this to my February or March TBR. Sounds quite good. There's also Savage Appetites, which I really want to read soon because it's a short book, non-fiction, and I feel like sometimes I'm just really in the mood for non-fiction that will kind of speak to me. I don't know, like I said, this video is very rambly. I have Ariadne, which I've already mentioned. I'm really in the mood for Greek mythology at the moment. Speaking of, I also have 1,000 Ships, which again is about Troy. I don't know why I said again because Ariadne is not. And then we have a sci-fi book, which is Caliban's War. I really want to carry on with this series this year, so I will be purchasing, if I enjoy this one, more of this series and hopefully reading a lot of it. Probably won't finish it this year, I have to admit, it's quite long. We also have Son of the Storm. I'm in the mood for fantasy at the moment, so I'm really hyped for this one. And also Kingdom of the Wicked, which is YA fantasy, so a little bit different, but I had a dream about this one the other night and now I really want to read it, so I might add this to a future TBR, like very close future TBR. So I hope this video made sense. I'm hopefully going to make it make sense in the editing process. Let me know what your TBR goals are. What is your current physical TBR number? Tell me if you have nearly 300 books, because I would love to know. I know that some of my friends have over 800, which makes me feel a bit better and also quite jealous. I would love to have a TBR that high if I was keeping up with the books that are coming in, because like I keep saying, I don't mind having a large TBR, it's just I don't like losing enthusiasm about my new books that I do bring in, because I've got books sat over there from 2010 and it makes me really sad that I have lost enthusiasm for them and probably won't enjoy them much anymore, because I've obviously grown as a person, as a reader since 2010. I was 17 when I bought some of those books and I'm probably not going to enjoy them now, but if I had read them at the time, maybe I would have enjoyed them. So this is my dilemma. I hope you understand. Thank you so much for watching this video and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Bye.